Add Spencer Rattler in 2022, and who knows, maybe the SEC Eastern Division dark horse. Welcome to the Voice of College Football. So we break down the game we all love each and every day with you. Best discussion, debate, and analysis because of you. Please like the video, share the videos out on social media, because if you enjoy the content, others will as well. And subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football, SEC. South Carolina downs North Carolina as a 13.5-point dog. Gamecocks win it at the Duke's Mayo Bowl, 38-21. Let's not just look at what happened today, but more importantly, how it projects to 2022. Of course, Spencer Rattler will be the quarterback coming in as the transfer quarterback from Oklahoma. Led the Sooners to a Big 12 championship in 2020. Lost his job to Caleb Williams, who is showing to be the part here in 2021, but still a capable quarterback, a huge upgrade. Spencer Rattler may be the best quarterback now in the SEC Eastern Division. Okay, what did we see out of the Gamecocks on Thursday? First and foremost, we saw Joyner play quarterback. He'd only thrown one pass since 2019, and we know about the well-documented and publicized quarterback issues at South Carolina this season. 3 quarterbacks started 4 games each, and they all went 2-2 to equal the 6-6 record. And we had Zeb Noland, who was the only quarterback who could have played today. He played considerable time, but he technically did not start. The graduate assistant, and that a mind-blowing story that a graduate assistant would step off the coaching staff and be starting SEC games at quarterback, but that's where South Carolina found themselves in that type of predicament this year. Well, Joyner, given the start, threw 9 passes, completed all of them. So as soon as the first series hit and Joyner was in the Wildcat formation, you figured they are going to run heavy, and then they're going to switch Joyner and Noland in and out, and Joyner's not going to throw the football. Yes, he did. He went 9 for 9. The first pass of the day was mighty impressive. He launched it from his back foot from the right hash and hit Jaheim Bell for a 69-yard touchdown play. A perfectly thrown ball. He just let her rip, and that pretty much told the story of what it was going to be like for South Carolina. Tough defense on this day. The running game beat up the heels up front, and they mixed in the pass just enough, and most of it was a bit gadgetry and gimmicky. But Shane Beamer put together a game plan. He can coach. There's no doubt about that. And Gamecocks win it. So he hits Jaheim Bell with the bomb. Bell had a huge day. He hauled in a 69-yarder and a 66-yarder from Noland. 5 catches for $159 and 2 touchdowns for Bell. We'll talk about him a little bit later. Kevin Harris reverted to his 2020 form in which he led the SEC in rushing. This year, only 4.1 yards per carry. He's been banged up, nicked up, and not 100%, but he looked 100% against UNC. 31 carries for $182. Give it up for Kevin Harris. Could have declared for the NFL draft before the bowl game. He is declared for the NFL draft, but not before he lugged the ball 31 times. He got beat up 31 times plus, played for his teammates, played for his guys, and then moved on to the NFL draft. No opt-out for Kevin Harris. We salute you, Kevin Harris. And could have won the game's MVP. That actually went to Joyner. Again, 9 for 9 passing for $160. And the defense for South Carolina on this day in frustrating Sam Howell. And that has been the issue with the Heels all season. It's not been Sam Howell, who's one of the most prolific passers in the history of the ACC. It's been the offensive line has been atrocious. And despite South Carolina missing its starting quarterback, Jason Brown, its best running back this season, best cover corner, best defensive lineman, they still put the heat on Sam Howell despite the 2 key defensive starters out. Howell only went 12 for 20. He was harassed most of the day. And besides British Brooks ripping off a 63-yard run, you take that away, and South Carolina stymied the UNC ground game as well. They sacked Howell 4 times. They only gave up 1 first third down conversion out of 10 attempts. Third down efficiency for UNC, 1 for 10. And South Carolina dominated on the stat sheet, 543 total yards to 333. That's UNC's lowest offensive output of the season, 333 yards. Sam Howell, who began his career as a true freshman, starting in his first game on a pretty big stage against South Carolina in a big non-conference game and pulling out a game in which they trailed in the fourth quarter by 2 scores. That was game number 1 and win number 1 for Sam Howell, but he could not complete the end-to-end win of South Carolina, and he loses to the Gamecocks in what is most likely his final game for North Carolina. All right, back to the Gamecocks. Parker White continued his amazing season, kicking over 93% field goal accuracy and becoming the school's all-time scoring leader in this game. All right, let's get to 2022 and what South Carolina looks like with Spencer Rattler at quarterback. One of the better tight ends in the Big 12, Austin Stogner, also coming in from Oklahoma. Caught about 25 passes this past season, 25 to 30 receptions, something in that range. Okay, on the offensive side, we talked about Kevin Harris, gone, declares for the NFL draft. Zaquandre White had already declared for the NFL draft, led the team in rushing this year. He's gone. Josh Vann led the team in receptions, by far the playmaker from an offensive standpoint. He's gone. Joyner should be back, and he'll go back to being a wide receiver. 23 catches and a touchdown this year. Running the football next year, you would have to think would go back to Marshawn Lloyd, who had about 220 yards rushing this year. Did not see action in this game. Didn't carry the ball, at least. 5th-rated running back coming out of high school, and did not play again. Juju McDowell did. He factored in quite well against UNC, 5 carries for 52 yards. So between Lloyd and McDowell, you would think that they would get the work in the running game in 2020. Okay, Bell comes back. He's a junior. And again, anytime we say that somebody's coming back, with the transfer portal humming, that you got to take that with a grain of salt. We never know at what point somebody's going to be not necessarily happy with their status on the team or whatever else set them off to cause them to want to transfer. So guys will definitely figure out where they stand on the team following bowl games and then following spring practice, and we're going to see an influx to the transfer portal continue, but especially during those 2 times, as soon as the season's over and then after spring practice. But we would expect Bell to be back. He's a sophomore this year, 30 catches, 5 touchdowns. Amerian Brown, the junior, caught 4 passes today for 61 yards after catching just 7 during the regular season. Maybe he'll get the type of action that he got back in 2019, 21 catches, 7 touchdowns for Brown. On to the defensive side. Those are the playmakers on offense. The top 5 tacklers are all gone, including Brad Johnson, Jalen Foster, Damani Staley. Roderick's gone. That is over 330 tackles gone. Cam Smith's coming back, though. He's a playmaker, of course, at safety. The sophomore had 11 passes defensed and 3 interceptions. Also, Zach Pickens, we saw him in key situations in this game against North Carolina, put heat on Sam Howell. He had a tackle for loss and a sack in the game, and he should be back. He finished his junior season. 2022 recruiting class was a good one for Shane Beamer and company, the 10th rated class in the SEC, number 20 in the nation. They brought in 21 signees. You would think on the defensive side, these are some of the top prospects. 2 of the top 5 signees are quarterbacks, but with Spencer Rattler in the fold, they will develop toward 2023 and beyond. But on the defensive side, safety Keenan Nelson, Anthony Rose, and also linebacker Stone Blanton may be guys that make an impact early in their careers for South Carolina. Our thoughts on the Gamecocks coming off what is a surprisingly good season. A great start to the Shane Beamer tenure at South Carolina, 7-6 with the bowl win over Mac Brown and the Heels. Leave your comments below. Please like the video, share the videos out on social media, subscribe right here at the Voice of College Football, SEC.